Well, now to an update for you. Officials at Bangor International Airport say things are back to normal following an incident which prompted a response from Bangor police early this morning. About 12:22 a.m., airport officials issued a notice saying visitors arriving at the airport to pick up passengers may do so, but they were not allowing anyone to enter the terminal due to, quote, increased security measures. Just after 2 this morning, they issued an update saying traffic was being allowed access to the airport. Their latest update, which came in just after 4 this morning, saying, quote, all clear and the terminal is now open. We have reached out to Bangor police for more information, but have not heard back. We will update you with more information as soon as that's made available.